Good morning, Carl. Welcome to number 3 of the Beatrix Potter stories. This one's called The Tale of Tom Kitten. Once upon a time, there were 3 little kittens, and their names were Mittens, Tom Kitten, and Moppet. They had dear little fur coats of their own, and they tumbled about the doorstep and played in the dust. But one day their mother, Mrs. Tabitha Twitchit, expected friends to tea, so she fetched the kittens indoors to wash and dress them before fine company arrived. First she scrubbed their faces. This one is Moppet. Then she brushed their fur. That one is Mittens. Then she combed their tails and whiskers. This is Tom Kitten. Tom was very naughty, and he scratched. Miss Tabitha dressed Moppet and Mittens in clean pinafores and tuckers. Then she took all sorts of elegant, comfortable clothes out of a chest of drawers in order to dress up her son Thomas. Tom Kitten was very fat, and he had grown. Several buttons had burst off. His mother sewed them on again. When the 3 kittens were ready, Miss Tabitha unwisely turned them out into the garden to be out of the way when she made hot buttered toast. Now keep your frocks clean, children. You must walk on your hind legs. Keep away from the dirty ashpit, and from Sally Henny Penny, and from the pigsty and the puddle ducks. Moppet and Mittens walked down the garden path unsteadily. Presently they tore down their pinafores and fell flat in their faces. When they stood up, there were several green smears. Let us climb on the rockery and sit on the garden wall, said Moppet. They turned their pinafores back to front, went up with a skip and a jump. Moppet's white tucker fell down on the road. Tom Kitten was quite unable to jump when walking on his hind legs. He came to the rockery by degrees, breaking the ferns and shedding buttons left and right. He was all in pieces when he reached the top of the wall. Moppet and Mittens tried to pull him together. His hat fell off, and the rest of his buttons burst. While they were in difficulty, there was a pit-piddle-pat, and the 3 puddle ducks came along the high road, marching one behind the other, and doing the goose step. Pat, pit, paddle, pat, oh, pat, pit, pat, waddle, pat. They stopped and stood in a row and stared up at the kittens. They had very small eyes, and they looked surprised. Then the 2 duck birds, Rebecca and Jemima Puddle Duck, picked up the hat and tucker and put them on. Mittens laughed so that she fell off the wall. Moppet and Tom descended after her. The pinafores and all the rest of Tom's clothes came off down the way down. Come, Mr. Drake Puddle Duck, said Moppet. Come and help us dress him. Come and button up Tom. Mr. Drake Puddle Duck advanced in a slow, sideways manner, picked up various articles. But he put them on himself. They fitted him even worse than Tom Kitten. It's a very fine morning, said Mr. Drake Puddle Duck. Sorry, the name reminds me of the Tale of Drake's Tale, which I hope you enjoyed. And he and Jemima and Rebecca Puddle Duck set off up the road, keeping step. Pit, pat, paddle, pat, pit, pat, waddle, pat. Then Tabitha Twitchit came down the garden and found her kittens on the wall with no clothes on. She pulled them off the wall, or smacked them, and took them back in the house. My friends will arrive in a minute, and you're not fit to be seen. I am affronted, said Miss Tabitha Twitchit. She sent them upstairs, and I'm sorry to say she told her friends they were in bed with the measles, which was not true. Quite the contrary, they're not in bed, not in the least. Somehow, there were very extraordinary noises overheard which disturbed the dignity and repose of the tea party. And I think that someday I shall have to make another larger book to tell you more about Tom Kitten. As for the puddle ducks, they went to a pond. The clothes came off directly because there were no buttons. And Mr. Drake and Puddle Duck and Jemima and Rebecca have been looking for them ever since. Honestly, well, if you're going to put clothes on cats and put them out in the garden, what the heck do you expect? Well, anyway, Carl, I trust you enjoyed that one. And yeah, meet me tomorrow for yet another one of the Beatrix Potter stories. Love you to pieces.